And while we're on the subject of feelings, it's one of the things we're never taught. You can express anger. You can go break some dishes. You can go punch a wall, punch somebody in the face, kick somebody. Don't recommend any of those. That's explosive. What most of us do is implosive work. So we have our stomachs full double. We produce a bunch of bile. We get an ulcer. We start the beginnings of a biological process that leads to all kinds of diseases by constantly clamping down those feelings. What we're not taught is the middle road of how to let go of anger by just letting go of it. That sounds impossible, especially when you're angry. It's like, you've got to be kidding. You can't do that. Well, you can do that. That's actually a real doable thing. And it means you don't necessarily have to implode. You don't necessarily have to explode. You can do bits of those if you like. But if you let it go directly, it's a very different experience. And it's one you can do anywhere.
Okay, I greatly appreciate everything you just said, and also greatly appreciate the really kind of challenging situation you found yourself in, trying to answer these gentlemen's, these prisoners' answer. I mean, I don't know. That sounds like quite the tap dance. But it also leads really, really beautifully into you're going to have a couple demonstrations on my show, which I'm
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
excited about. So
Okay.
let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Let's is there a feeling here's the deal. We're going to work in a way that I call secret therapy, which means you being the client I didn't even ask permission for, guess what you're doing now? You're going to be a client. You are going to keep us 150% out of any content whatsoever. That means you can't tell us it has to do with your knee or your mother or your history in Guadalupe. No content. We're going to work at the process level, and the reason we're going to do that is because it'll keep all the nosy listeners out of hallucinating more about you, because that's what we are as human. We're all nosy. We all want to know. Yeah, what's up with Kirsten? What's that all about? None of our business. And it'll allow folks to lean into this process thing and play their own game at home, and we can do that cleanly. So what I want you to do is pick a feeling. It can be any feeling. You will have to tell us what the feeling is, but you're not going to tell us what it's about. You're going to give us no context. I want you to pick a feeling that has been around for a while, one that haunts you or dogs you or keeps coming up every week or every 3 days or every month. Just tell us what the feeling is.
Anger.
Perfect. So you picked one of the force, probably the most forceful one, and the one that people are either really good at or mostly afraid of. So that's perfect. So we know we're working on anger. What I'm going to ask you to do is to think of a specific situation that where it keeps coming up for you, and you're never going to tell us what that is. You're going to use that to compare when we're done. Okay. So when I think about XYZ, it makes me this angry. So the next thing we do is figure out how angry this angry is. So 0 to 10, 10 is I am going to throw this fire extinguisher through your head. I'm so angry. 0 is, yeah, it doesn't bother me, no problem. Where are you?
I would say I'm at an 8.
That is perfect. So you now know, we all know it's anger. It's tied to a specific situation, and we're starting at an 8. Now we do the crazy tinfoil hat brigade stuff. Find the place in your body. You're probably already there. You're actually probably cueing us right there with this. Find the place in your body where the anger feels the hottest.
Well, I'm rubbing my throat, and I even started rubbing my throat before.
Yeah. By the way, this is an old Chinese medicine fix for rising anger. It's to rub it back down. It only works for so long.
Okay.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. For about 30 seconds or so, what I'm going to have you do is focus on the anger without it escalating. You're just focusing on it as an idea. And you're going to focus on the place that constantly triggers it to keep it at an 8. All right. During that time, I'm going to do some crazy sounding mumbling stuff, which I barely even understand what it is. We'll see what happens to that eight. And it's important when we're done that I'm going to have you check that same memory or the same trigger, really. Okay? Here we go. Bring it to mind. I'll let you know when we're done. Okay, bring your attention back, but I want you to use the same reference point. So it's the same situation, person, or event. We started at an eight. What number are we at now?
We're at five. And I had
Okay,
the most interesting experience. It felt like it was being flushed down the toilet when you
nice,
started. It's very
nice.
interesting.
Yep, perfect. So the rule is if it worked that well, which it did, we're going to do it again. We have to keep the mind now will want to try to help. So this is why I'm a little pedantic about this. Same target, same feeling. So it's anger directed to the same thing, same circumstance. Again, lightly keep your attention on it. Here we go. All right, bring your attention back and then lean in and check. Notice anything that may have changed. You want to check your number, but also notice if anything arrived or anything left.
Well, I'm at a two, but I do have
Perfect.
to say that it made me nauseous. Like I felt like I wanted to throw up
Yeah,
in my throat, and my stomach started getting like I felt like I really needed to throw up. And I'd have to say that, obviously I felt in my throat, but the secondary place for anger was in my abdomen. So that's, I felt that also wanted to just throw up.
gotcha. So just check, is that sensation still here or is that quelled?
It's abating. It's like slowly disappearing.
It always will. It's rare someone will actually throw up if they need to, so be it. But that's pretty rare. We have the we have the that pattern is so ingrained in the nervous system. It's like, oh, get it out. It's poison because it's poison. Just FYI for those of you playing the home game. So good. Eight, five, two. That's a normal progression. And by normal, I want to just say one thing. Everybody's different, but most people go down a couple of numbers at a time because there's no barrier to that happening. I'm going to build in for folks who are not as facile as you a thing to eliminate the barriers so that their decline can be easy too. We're going to do it one more time. We're going
Okay.
to we're going to start in a slightly different way. All right. Focus on the two. Focus on anger. Same target. Give me 1 second. All right. Attention back. Let go of anything you were focused on, and then check it fresh.
Um, I had an interesting experience. So I was at a two.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just going to call it a gremlin
Yeah.
in my stomach. The gremlin was not happy. That
Right.
it was, you did it a third time. And
Right.
it is resisting and
Mhm.
it's not pleased. And so I'm still at a two. But I could feel the pushback. It was very
Yeah.
interesting.
That's very insightful. That resistance is it even hurts when we say this out loud, but it's sort of a true confession of how we're wired. Don't take my pain away from me. Or don't take all of it because I need some at 2 a.m. to keep me up and to be angry at like when I'm in the grocery store. We hold on to a little bit because there's this false belief that somehow it's either justified or important. And it can be very justified, but
Yeah.
it's still poison. Here, drink your justified poison is the same as drink your regular poison. So let's do a little piece for that gremlin. I love the term gremlin. Put your attention on either the gremlin that you're experiencing or the sense of pushback. And I'm going to do something different this time. Here we go. Okay, bring your attention back and tell me what you noticed.
Well, that felt a little playful. So it felt almost as if you came in and you were, I don't know, not teasing is the wrong word, but trying to make friends with my gremlin or having fun with my gremlin and saying, hey, don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah,
Like we can have fun together. You don't have to be so rigid, I guess, so entrenched. Um,
nicely done. Good.
let's have fun. That's basically what it felt like.
And are you still at a two? And it's fine if you are.
Yeah, I am at a two, but it's I can feel the gremlin is softening.
Yeah. What happens when we do this? And I should say this for folks who are going to come back and use this because that's part of why I do this. This can stay embedded in the recording. Folks can come back and use this as much as they want for any feeling that they want. Um, when we start with something worth having, start with something over a five. You started at an eight, so that it's really worth doing. And then when it starts to drop, we really notice it. When we get down to a two, a one, or a zero, we are done because what happens if we leave it now 20 minutes to a couple of hours after the fact, it automatically starts dropping and we let go. It's hard to let go fully consciously that rapidly because it freaks a lot of us out. It's like, this is too quick. It can't be changing. So there's a little time delay usually. That's 20 minutes, 2 hours. Sometimes it's as long as the next morning. A sleep cycle is very helpful. I get many, I get many emails that start with, "Yeah, I heard you. I was on a show yesterday. I thought it was stupid, and then I went to bed. I'm having the best morning ever." Those are my favorite emails because sometimes 20 years of this pattern takes an overnight for us to go, you know what? Feels better when it's not in full enragement.